Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to talk about all of the books that I read in November. November was not a super great reading month for me. I only got through 7 books, 4 physical books and 3 audiobooks. I did not finish an ebook at all in the month of November. So without further ado, let's get started. Let's start with my audiobooks for the month, my 3 audiobooks. Ooh. My cat is trying to get into my closet and he knows how to open those types of doors. But let's get started with my audiobooks. So my first audiobook that I finished was Voyager, which is the 3rd book in the Outlander series. These books, to me, they're like, the audiobooks are so long. That one I think was 43 hours. They're just really like background books for me, so I put them on when I'm driving. I put them on like when I'm just doing stuff, so like when I get to work in the morning and I'm just doing my prep work, I'll have it as an audiobook going, and that's kind of how I've been getting through those books. I was cleaning today and I'm actually working on the next one in the series as an audiobook, so that's how I've been getting through those. But my cat is just really trying to get into everything right now. They're background books for me. I don't like love them. I would say they're like in that 3-star range for me, but it's just one of those series that's kind of enjoyable to just have in the background. The next audiobook that I finished was a very short one compared to the first one. This one I think was only about like 4 hours long, and it was When the Emperor Was Divine. And this was a really interesting book. One, it delves into a very like difficult topic of when during World War II, when Japanese Americans were relocated to camps in the United States, and the kind of effect on a family that could have. What was really interesting about this book is none of the main characters have names, so it was kind of this feeling of like this could be anyone, and I think that was the feeling that the author was trying to get at. And it was just overall like a very beautifully done book with a very strong voice. And then the last audiobook that I finished was The Wedding Witch. This is the 3rd book in the X-Hex series, and it was just a very fun, enjoyable audiobook to listen to. It was nice to kind of mix that in, because like the Outlander one those get like really long and hefty, and then When the Emperor Was Divine was like a very like serious topic, so it was nice to just have like a fun, like not have to think about it storyline, and I feel like I need to mix that in a lot more as I read. So those were my 3 audiobooks, and now on to my physical books. I read Touching Spirit Bear. This was a reread for me. I read this when I was probably in like middle school. It's a book that I got for free, and I'm actually going to end up decluttering this book and just passing it along to a little free library. I don't really have much to say about this book, but it was just one that I kind of wanted to reread. The next book is a book that was borrowed to me. It is The Berry Pickers, and this one is about a First Nations Native family and the struggles that they go through, and it's really about the connection of family and what does family mean, and also dealing with like trauma and things like that. It was a very, again, beautifully written book. I liked the different perspectives that we went through. So there's 2 main characters, and chapters alternate the perspectives, but within those chapters it's also switching timelines between past and present, and I found that storytelling really compelling and interesting, and I definitely think this is a book that's worth a read. It's also not super long. I think it's around 330 pages. not even. It's only 300 pages, so very short read, enjoyable. I think you should pick it up. The next physical book I actually read in a day. It is The Heaven and Earth Grocery Store by James McBride. This is also another borrowed book to me. And yeah, I read this book in a day. I really needed like that pick-me-up of just like really getting into a story and just binging a book. This is telling the story of a community kind of as it changes, and really like the central part of this community is the Heaven and Earth Grocery Store, and just kind of how the people in the community both work together and are at odds with one another in some of those pieces. But it's really a story focused on community, and I've probably said that about 7 times. I can see why it's a very well-loved book and why it won some awards, so it was worth a read, and now I can also return this to its owner. So out of the 4 physical books that I read this month, I'm only keeping one, and that book is Endurance. I finished this book yesterday, so November 30th, and this is Scott Kelly's biography about his year in space, but it also the chapters alternate through both his year in space perspective and then kind of what led him up to becoming an astronaut. So I found that really interesting, and it was a very nice biography to read. I like his storytelling style. It's very easy for me to read, so I very much enjoyed that book, and this one is going on my shelf next to like my space biographies. And then I also want to talk about a couple of books that I am currently reading / didn't finish in the month of November. I started Station 11 yesterday, and I got about 100 pages in yesterday. I've read up to chapter 30, so page 176. So I'm going to finish this up in the next couple of days. This is also a reread for me. It was on my November TBR, but I didn't quite get to it, and that's okay, but I am going to finish this up in the next couple of days. I also am still working my way through The Death and Life of the Great Lakes. My goal is to finish this book this month and have it checked off of my TBR before the end of this year. So stay tuned to see if I get through that one. And then I did not finish the ebook that I was reading in November. I'm currently working on the second book in Letters of Enchantment. I think it's called Ruthless Vows. And I'm 40% of the way through this book. I think one of these days I am just going to need to like sit down and kind of binge through the rest of that story, because there's other books that I just want to read more, and so I've been prioritizing those, and then I just read like a couple pages of this here and there like on my lunch. So those are the 3 books that I'm currently reading as I am filming this. But that is all I have for my November reading wrap up. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time. Bye.